Okay, gonna get started on this lock replacement. This is an older model Kwikset lock. Can't remember when we actually bought it, but it was probably closer to $200. Now the model we're replacing with is closer to $60. And the buttons are just wore out on this. I can show it to you afterwards to see the state it's in. Just gonna go ahead and pop batteries out. Take the cover off like I did, pop the batteries out. I'm actually going to reuse this lock somewhere else because I can put this someplace else. I don't know, maybe a shed. I'm not going to throw it out, but it is getting hard to use and no one likes it anymore. I don't use a drill because a lot of times you can strip these out and just go way too hard on just about all these machine screws. So don't use a drill for this part. Okay, go ahead and unplug it. There's your old guts. And save all the screws. Try to keep this in the view of the okay, now I'll use a spoon. These make me thread it in the one way. And they usually are threaded in other ways. And now I might use a drill to run it. I won't use the drill to tighten it. Because that amount of torque will just strip something out. And you don't want something like that happening with a delicate system like these. These things are expensive. I just had to go to replace one. And it was one that I my wife had bought it, but I had to try to install it today. And just because I did something wrong, which is remove the sticker on it, which I'll show you the sticker I'm talking about, before the lock was able to find home, it screwed up the whole works. Instead of trying to troubleshoot the lock, I just took it right back to the store. So follow all the instructions the way I didn't, and it'll be easy for you. Powerbolt 240. Talks about lining it up. If you don't already have a hole in the door, you're gonna have to watch another video because I'm not showing you that today. But this is the little bullseye that they have. You basically line this up to a fresh door, you hole punch it or mark it, and that's when you know you're gonna have to make your cuts. We're going for a straight swap out, and I know that because it's the same brand, more likely it's gonna fit right over. In fact, I already did one on the back side of the house today. Unboxing it, you see the sticker. Do not remove until after installation, but before the batteries go in. So once this turns on and powers on, the mechanism's gonna go back, forth, if that's restricted at all, something's gonna mess up inside there. You messed up, take it back, or just don't do it. Let's go where else, see what else is in the box. Okay. The face with the guts and the motor, brass colored, very nice. And then you have the key, the hardware, the strike plate, and the lock latch mechanism that goes inside. This part gets tricky. You have to actually know whether your door has the recess cut in for it or it doesn't. If it doesn't have a recess cut in, you're gonna have to cut it in. If you want to operate it without that recess, you have to convert this lock. There's steps in there to convert this lock. I'm not gonna convert the lock because I have the recess in this door. You see that? I had already gone ahead and done that. This is not the first lock I've installed in this door, but if you're gonna do it quick and dirty, which is the hole's there and you got it from Menards and dang thing's not recessed, they make an option for that. You just gotta follow the procedure on this. It involves removing this strike plate and this retainer and putting on the other retainer. I think that was also another problem I had with that door over there. And of course I didn't know all that until I read the instructions. So let me go ahead and put this in. I know from reading the instructions that that's supposed to be in the down position. I also know that it's supposed to be center of that hole. If it's not coming out center of the hole this way, from the opening, not up and down, center that way, then you're gonna have to do something else, like extend it, and that's another switch there. Now that just turned that in from a, I wanna say it's 2 3/8 to a 2 3/4 lock, but that won't fit mine. See that? Now I have gap there, and you don't want that. You want to be nice and flush, center. Okay? To hold it in place, you're gonna put the little 2 screws that they have included. Okay, and this is what I mean by flush right here. If it wasn't flush, it would be over flush, and you don't want that. You want that nice and flush so that when it retracts, it's gone. You don't have to go ham on this either. You can just snug them down, because what I realized doing this just earlier is that you'll snug it all up, and then you realize that that thing doesn't move freely. It has just a fine amount of adjustment. And in order to hit that so that it's moving freely, you want it to be a little loose. Then you can snug it up. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and line this up. Right, I can just move that little tongue. It's the actual driver for the deadbolt. I'm gonna line that up. It's horizontal. Okay, at the same time, feed the wire out of the way. I also noticed on the first one that I took back that I think I scratched that wire. Don't worry, I told them that it was broke. But they're not gonna resell it. But that's the difference probably between the cheapo locks and the real expensive locks, is how much they might coat that and how much they might give you for slack. Okay. That's just hanging in there, but I don't want to bump the door. Found my 2 long screws that are going to connect the back plate, which is the strength of it, right? Back plate's going to go through. These are one direction, okay? So you got to know which way it's going. It'll tell you top, it'll tell you this side. When it fits, it should fit like a puzzle piece. Okay? That's when you just kind of line these up. You have to go through the lock mechanism that you just put in and find the hole on the other side leading right to the face. Once you get that set, you'll feel it. If you have no resistance, nothing coming back, those threads haven't found home yet, you just gotta keep wiggling, keep trying, pull that together best you can. I get one started, and then, you know what I'm saying? That takes up the slack right there. Should make sure that my camera. Okay, so now that you get that lined up, okay, it's snug, but not too snug. I kind of want to look at the door and the face of it now and make sure that my lineup is looking good. Make sure that it's, you know, not too crooked, and it's a little bit crooked, so I'm just going to make a small adjustment on it, I feel. Just like that. Yeah, you could go and measure. I don't know, kind of use something that you know, a known length, or a tape if you have it. But now that I made that look nice and pretty there, I'm gonna go ahead and snug it up a little more. Okay. Going back and forth, taking up a little more room every time. This has a key in it. It says I should take the key and run it to make sure that this bolt glides smoothly. Okay. Operates fine. Okay, so now it does. Want to leave it open and take the key out. And leave it open. Put the key away. But take the key out. Now, cover off of the back plate. That should be in the vertical position, up and down. This is in a matching position to receive. Going to go ahead and connect the wire to the back plate. It's a one direction thing also. It's going to click in. There's the top side. You can kind of see and hear it click in. There's also a little spot to tuck that wire. Okay. And feed that back plate on to that little tongue. Okay, now you're going to look for your machined screws. Right here. So, I'm not going to trust letting that go. So, I didn't open this beforehand, so now I'm just going to open it one-handed. Okay. On that brass backing plate, there are two holes that are set up to receive the threads for this backing plate. So this is going to connect the battery pack to the brass back plate that we just put on. Now I find the other machined screw, and I didn't snug that down, I just tightened it. So I could wiggle this if needed and find home. Okay. Now they're tight. Let me go ahead and get the batteries. Okay, we're back. And we gotta hurry because Dragon Lady is on a warpath. So, remove after the installation, before batteries are put in. So this is a key part. I think this is where I screwed up last time. Now I'll take that sticker off. Just put it right there. Now the batteries can go in. 1, 2, 3, 4. I was confused and I didn't hear anything right away, but with this particular lock, you have to have a code put in before you can, it doesn't have the dummy code, doesn't have the 1, 2, 3, 4, doesn't have the 000, so that's a good feature, but you got to know that. So I'm going to hit the reset button, and I'm going to hit the code in front, which I'm not going to tell you what it is because you're going to have to do that yourself, or maybe I'll make a video later, but I'm going to install my code now. Well, I'll make a temporary code to show you because I saw how to do that. But when you install the code, the lock will go through its motion of finding its left and right. Now the code is in, so it's got one code in, so now I can test it. Should be able to test it like that, right? And it should be able to test it by hitting the lock button. Okay, and now I'm going to enter my code. And it automatically unlocks. Don't even have to hit that unlock button like on older models or some locks. I don't know how long I've had this model here, but you can see how much bigger it is than the model that I'm replacing it with. Okay, so I guess they've come a long way. Well, this says 2017 on it. So, okay, now, good luck.